Hey everyone, how you doing? This is a game called Writer's Block. Now, this is a part of the Amnesia Fortnight 2017 bundle. It is one of the few games that I will be showing you, presenting to you. I don't know how you want to put it. There will be two games on the list that I cannot present to you, unfortunately. One seems to have a downloading issue. The other one seems to be missing an exe file. So, 5 games, guys. You'll see the other 4 following this one. But this one's called Writer's Block. Now, all I did was literally I loaded up, and this is what I got. So, uh, choose wisely: party mode or story mode. More goofy plus Mad Libs, less goofy interactive fiction. Huh. Well, I'm gonna pick story mode because I like story. Welcome to Sequence, a story about David and the choices he makes. You're going to play the director. Try to get David to his Hollywood ending. Interior, David's apartment. Morning. Ring. We see a close up of a telephone. Ring. We pull back to see David. He's a mess. It looks like hell, but he's pulled his head up to see the phone. A hand reaches in front of the frame, quickly lifts, and then drops the receiver on the phone's base. We see an upshot of Tim. Tim. Man, David, you really need to drink less. Also, you're out of toilet paper. Title frame. Sequence. Story by Tim Keenan, directed by Harlequin Kidde. Fade outs. Interior, video game store, day. Ring. We see David working behind the counter of a retail game store. Dusker's posters subtly hanging behind him. He reaches down and picks up the phone. It's Tim. David, I realize you've got to drive. I'm gonna get wasted at the party tonight. David thinks about if he or Tim should drive tonight. He decides the person to drive should be David. Yeah, that makes sense. I can drive because I don't want to get too trashed. I gotta work tomorrow. You're great, man. Hey, I hear Francine's gonna be there. You should talk to her again. And this time, not just pine about Julie. Yeah. I'll see you in a bit. I gotta go home and change. Interior, David's apartment, the afternoon. Ring. We see David's home phone ringing as he walks into the door in the background. David hovers his hand over the phone and debates, answer or ignore. He answers. Hello? Oh, hey, Julie. David talks to Julie for a few minutes, but she has to go. He wants to tell her he loves her. He wants to tell her he hates her. Instead, he tells her he's doing well and they should grab lunch. While in the background, Nash's song, I Love You, I Hate You plays in the background. It's actually the other way around, but whatever. David realizes he's already late and has to pick up Tim. He doesn't really have time to change. He rushes out the door. Had it not answered, I would have had time to change. Ring. We see a close-up of the door with a call box next to it. A hand reaches out and opens the door to reveal David and Tim. Tim is excited and says, the party has arrived. David looks a bit down and distant. David mules over the drinks. Francine walks by. He smiles and nods at her, refills his drink, and with a very healthy pour of vodka. He realized he didn't ask Julie what she was doing tonight, and wondered if she's out having fun. Maybe if he had asked her, she would have wanted to come to the party. Tim comes over to David. How do you seem so drunk? We've barely been here half an hour. Oh, I drank a lot before we came here. What's this, amateur hour? Tim looks at David, who at first can't tell if Tim's waiting to tell him good or bad news, but after a moment, he realizes the news is... I gotta pee. Speaking of peeing, do you remember Debbie? Debbie, that you dated for 3 years in middle school? Yes! Turns out I don't need a ride home. Does she have any idea how drunk you are? 'Cause she's gonna give me a ride, like, to her house. 'Cause... Yeah, I get it. Dave starts to wonder if he should ask Julie to the party. Then he wouldn't be leaving alone. Though leaving without a drunk Tim isn't the worst. Dave drives home alone, and it begins to rain. Interior, David's apartment, morning. Ring. We see a close-up of a telephone. Ring. We pull back to see David. He's a mess. He reaches over for the phone. Hello? Oh, jeez. You guys all right? You shouldn't have drove like that. Okay. I'll head down. Let me write down which hospital. Hold on. Interior, video game store, day. Ring. We see David working behind the counter of a retail game store. I have no idea what I'm doing, poster subtly hanging behind him. He reaches down and picks up the phone. It's Tim. David, I realize you gotta drive. I'm gonna get wasted at the party tonight. David thinks about if he or Tim should drive tonight. He decides the person to drive should be David. Yeah, that makes sense. I can drive because I don't want to get too trashed. I gotta work tomorrow. You're great, man. Hey, I heard Francine's gonna be there. You should talk to her again. And this time, not just pine about Julie. Yeah. I'll see you in a bit. I gotta go home and change. Interior, David's apartment, afternoon. I hope you guys realize what's going on here. Like, what? Why did we just start over? We see David's home phone ring as he walks to the door in the background. David's hand hovers over the phone and debates, answer or ignore. He decides to ignore. David decides to let the machine get it so he can go change. David realizes he's already late and has to pick up Tim. He doesn't really have time to change. He rushes out the door. What? Interior, party house, night. Ring. We see a close-up of the door with a call box next to it. A hand reaches out and opens the door to reveal David and Tim. Tim is excited and says, "The party has arrived." David has a slight smile on his face. David bumps into Francine in the kitchen. She asks him how he's been. He starts to small talk, but then quickly launches into a tirade about some of the frustrations of working at a game store, selling games. What he really wants to do is make games. He suddenly becomes self-conscious as he realizes how personal he just got with her. She smiles and asks if he's making a game. He admits he has, but it's not very good. Well, it's your first game. Also, I could be the judge of that. I'm guessing you could use some feedback. Why don't I come over tomorrow and play it? Yeah. That'd be fun. And you really want to try my crappy prototype? Yeah, I really do. I'm trying to come up with a better on the fly. If I call you tomorrow, you're going to pick up, right? I'd really like to help. David shows a genuine smile. Definitely. On the first ring. Okay, maybe the second. Tim comes over to David. How do you seem so drunk? We've barely been here an hour. Oh, I drank a lot before we came here. What is this, amateur hour? Tim looks at David, who at first can't tell if Tim's waiting to tell him good or bad news. But after a moment, he realizes the news is Tim. Remember Debbie for like 3 days. Alright, I'm not going to go through this all over again. Oh, wait, maybe I will. Oh, great. Yes, then you run home. Great. With that decision, she must be as drunk as you. You know what? Let me give you guys a ride to her place. I can pick you up tomorrow if I need to. Seriously? Wow, you're in a good mood. David drives the couple to Debbie's as they make out in the back seat. It begins to rain. The windows start to fog up with their panting. As soon as he pulls up to Debbie, they rush out, giggling like little schoolgirls. David cracks a smile and drives home in the rain. Oh, gosh. See close up the telephone. We pull back to see David. He sits up in bed. Ring. Hello? Oh, hey. Yeah, second ring. You still want to try out my game? Well, I don't know how sober you were. No, I'd love that. Okay, yeah. 823 Tanner Way. Yeah, I'll be here. See you soon. Credits. Created by Misfits Attic. Not bad. So how does party mode work? I'm curious. I'm assuming I don't. Video game pitch version 1.0. Get it? Dear Double Fine. Sometimes I wonder what my favorite Double Fine game is, and I'm so torn. First, I think of how much I enjoyed playing. What's a non-Double Fine game? StarCraft 2. The best mechanic StarCraft 2 is by far the ability to make more drones. What? But then I think about how much I enjoyed playing your other title. Broken Age? Let's go for an actual one. Broken Age. It was amazing playing in a world where a giant Cthulhu was eating girls. Yep. And that's when I thought of it. What if you had the ability to make more drones in a world where a giant Cthulhu was eating girls? What? Am I right? We could call it Broken 2 or even StarCraft Age. Let's do lunch. I've already got some concept art for Broken 2. Thanks, Tim K. Institute Advisement. Initial content. Has anyone ever described you as a loner? A longer? Do you ever wish instead that describes you as a macho man? At the Institute of serving specimens on a platter of United Airways of Delta for the nominal cost of $18 million. What we would do is surround you by people who were a macho man, and we'll pretend you were also a macho man. People who are a macho man are very good at this, and it helps people who are a loner are very gullible. At the Institute of Serving Specimens on a Platter of Delta, we offer hope, even to people that are a loner like you. Isn't that worth $18 million for you, for your family, to finally be a macho man? So get off your couch, stop playing Broken 2, and do something about the fact that you're a loner. Sincerely, Tim K. The Institute of Serving Specimens on a Platter of Delta is not yet recognized as an accredited institute. Movie pitch, Rev 1. This is great. This is actually the better one. The film stars a female protagonist named... You know what? Hannah. Whatever. That was the first name that came in my head. Hannah, age 39. In the year 7753. You may question the name Hannah for an action role, but I've done research on Reddit, and it's going to resonate 1000%. Since Hannah is old as hell, especially for a tween audience, which I've tested this on, she's haunted by her past, because there's like a lot of it, being so old. But by far, what will haunt her forever is the time that she ate a disgusting earthworm. This will all end time later for a huge payoff. Also, since this takes place in the future, people no longer use iPhones to communicate. They use iPhones. Like super foreign futuristic iPhones. We could even have a shot of people using iPhones on a big space station or something. Since old people can't really run or jump and stuff, we could cut to a crazy chase scene. But it's a chase scene of the future, so they're riding in a bubble. And she's being pursued by the Gorg. Kudos. Comment below if you know that reference. Maybe we could sell branded a bubble in selected stores. I've got lots of merchandise ideas. Anyways, she invades the Gorg and watching several bubbles explode in a ball of fire. Hana finally meets her love interest, Slender Man. Oh, what? No space. What? But their love affair becomes turbulent when Hana confesses to Slender Man about the time she ate a disgusting earthworm. Since Slender Man grew up left-handed and an orphan, Slender Man just can't escape the fact that Hana ate a disgusting earthworm. Her pastor's ugly head again. What is this? They have a really emotional dialogue about using iPhones, but even iPhones can't mend the heartache they both feel, and they drift apart. But Slender Man eventually dies in a freak accident, mauled by a futuristic hamster. Heartbroken, Hana decides to visit the Institute of Serving Specimens on a Platter of Delta, where she discovers that she is a loner. However, the Institute wasn't safe as she thought it'd be because the very same futuristic hamster that killed Slenderman is waiting for her. It wasn't an accident. The futuristic hamster had plotted this all along, because in the future, hamsters are way, way smarter. In the end, everyone knows that this science is deadly as it is mysterious. And during the credits, we could possibly show how we use special effects where a bubble exploded into the ball of fire. Just so no one thinks we blew up any bubble or hurt any of the Gorg. The end. I can send along the sequel, but I figured you may have notes. This is fantastic. This is way better. Holy gosh. I wish I started with this. Movie bitch. Oh, again? Jane. Age, I don't know, 14. And the year 1200. You may question the name Jane for an action role, but I've done research on Reddit. It's going to be around 1000%. Since Jane is young as hell, we can open a scene where she's paying taxes. This will all tie in together for a huge payoff. Also, since this takes place in the past, people don't have high-speed internet. To entertain themselves, they use tumbleweeds. Like super rustic tumbleweeds. We even have a shot where people using tumbleweeds on horseback or something. Since kids are boring, we then jump into an awesome action scene 15 years later where Jane is fighting hamsters. Or possibly rabbits. If we have the budget, I'd love to make the hamsters riding rabbits. But we can figure that in pre-production. Anyways, after defeating hamsters rabbits, Jane finally meets her love interest. We had Slenderman as the last one, right? So her love interest for this one is a 14-year-old girl, so can't be too raunchy with this. Jack. Look, I gotta keep it simple. She's 14. Jane confesses to Jack that she's paying taxes, and at first Jack thinks it's a joke, but when she shows the scars, the laughing stops. What? What is this movie? Together they try to find some common ground using tumbleweeds, but even tumbleweeds can't mend the heartache they both feel. Tragically, they drift apart, and Jack eventually finds work as an earthworm inspector. Heartbroken, Jane decides to visit the Institute of Serving Specimens on the Plateau Delta, but since it's the past, it doesn't exist yet, so she can't be cured, and has to accept that she's a loner. However, the Institute wasn't as safe as she thought it'd be because Jack was waiting for her. You see, working as an earthworm inspector had twisted Jack's soul to be super evil. They battle, but in the end, love prevails. Old-timey love. We all learned that the past is dangerous as it is ancient. We should probably show a scene where Jane is friends with some really funny hamsters so that people don't think we're stereotyping hamsters. The end. Yep. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna cut it off there. So I think it just keeps going, which is funny. I love this. Writer blocks, that little story mode, I was like, it's kind of alright. The party mode is freaking where it's at. That is hilarious. I love Mad Lib type games. They're so amazing. They're so cool. I love them. So this is Writer Blocks, guys. Again, this was in the Amnesia Fortnight 2017 bundle. For the Humble Bundle and Charity. It was really great to support such a bundle. And Charity, of course. I really love this. This was a cool little game. Yeah. Anyways, thank you for watching, everyone. I will bring you the next game ASAP. So stay tuned.